several minutes while the music plays, just close your eyes, relax, and rest in the presence and hold space.
Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakrajundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye 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 Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Suklam Bharadaram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Gam Ganapataye Namo
Namaste.
Namaste. Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang being a Sanskrit word that means community of truth. Sounds high and lofty. It really is a word that describes any spiritual community where two or more people on the path of awakening come together to share their journeys with one another, their presence, their challenges, their strengths. So welcome. We're glad you're here. It's really important that we join together in these challenging times on earth. We multiply one another's strength exponentially when we join together like this. So find, if you can, a spiritual group, a meditation group, a satsang where you live, where you can actually come together physically with others on the path. It's a beautiful thing. You'll find that you have more in common with others who are experiencing the transformation of consciousness involved in awakening. You'll have more in common with people from some other faith tradition than your own, if they're awakening and you're awakening. So just find one you're comfortable with and relate to the people and do that on a regular basis if you can. But we'll be here every Monday night as long as Spectrum allows us to stay online. So yeah, we lost the internet 20 minutes before the webcast tonight. Immediately went to work, and it half hour later, everything seems to be working beautifully. So glad you hung in there or dropped by late. Let's see. Well, we share in these satsangs something called the Flowering Heart Blessing, which is a transmission of divine grace and consciousness and light that catalyzes awakening in the receiver. It's a gift of grace, a free gift that comes directly from the divine source and will support you on whatever path that you're on, as long as you want to awaken or go deeper. So you're just soaking in it right now. If you like the energy, the presence that you experience during this webcast, you are already initiated and activated to share it yourself. By receiving the Flowering Heart Blessing once, you're fully activated for it to flow through you. So might as well start now. Invite the presence to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you to all the other participants in the satsang tonight and those that will be viewing this video in the future. And I think you'll receive even more than if you're welcome to just sit there and soak it in. But when you invite it to begin to flow through you, it's a bigger deal. So glad you're here. Announcements. Well, if you're on an email list or you've been exploring our stuff, you probably know that we're about to start a new Centering Prayer group and book club beginning Sunday, February 18th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Sunday starting February 18th for an hour or so on Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to come together to discuss some books that we're going to be reading and to practice centering prayer together as a group. The book club will be focused on Christian mysticism, meditation, and contemplative prayer. Contemplative prayer is sometimes referred to as Christian meditation, or simply resting in God, or resting in the presence. Sounds pretty familiar to most of us, I think. It's not something that can be achieved through will, but rather it is God's gift. It's the opening of mind and heart, one's whole being to God. Contemplative prayer is a process of interior transformation. It's a relationship initiated by God and leading, if one consents, to divine union, which is a pretty big deal. The first book that we're going to be using is Open Mind, Open Heart by Thomas Keating, a Trappist abbot who was a founder of the Centering Prayer movement. Centering prayer helps us to open, to receive that gift of contemplative grace. So come and check it out. If you go to our website, floweringheart.org, right there on the home page, right up near the top, is the information, the Zoom link, and a link to a page that has a lot more information about contemplative prayer, about centering prayer. Just check it out. And if you're interested, it would be great if you would email me, michael@floweringheart.org, so I can put you on the list. But you can just use the Zoom ID. I've put it right up there publicly, and everyone is welcome. I think that's all I have to say about that. Oh, if you are getting a copy of Open Mind, Open Heart, which if you're going to do the book club, please do, we'll be beginning discussing the readings as a group, and then we'll dive into centering prayer together, which is much more profound in the beginning. When you do it with a group, it really deepens your practice and supports you in it. But be sure, if you get the book, that it's available on Amazon. I guess I can say that. Be sure to get the 2006 20th anniversary edition. The original edition was in 1986, 20 years earlier, and so there have been a new foreword by Thomas Keating, or introduction. They've rearranged the chapters, changed the material a little bit, so we can flow together with the book club. Get that 20th anniversary edition published in 2006, please.
Any recommendations on what to read before the book club, or
That book.
the whole book?
No, you can just start it.
Oh,
The book club is in less than 2 weeks.
right.
If you want to read through it, go ahead. You could probably read it in a day or two, but it's a contemplative book. Take your time, underline it, make notes about what you might want to bring up in the book club about what's really spoke to you and moved you. Otherwise, our communion with the Cosmic Christ that we did 2 weeks ago, we did an introduction to centering prayer during the communion with the Cosmic Christ, and we all did it together, and that's on the video. So if you want to dip in ahead of time, feel free to watch that. The link's right here on Facebook or on the website. Also, feel free to, the book gives the instructions, but also on our website it gives the very simple steps to do centering prayer, so you're welcome to begin on your own. But I think you'll find that it's just like learning to meditate. You try to do it alone, and you can, but when you first do it with a group, it seems like the interior silence and the presence is just deeper and more profound. So that's what I'm saying. We like to open it to questions and answers on the spiritual journey, on awakening, on divine union, all these things we've been talking about, meditation, contemplative prayer, previous lives, present lives, future lives. We're willing to discuss anything pertaining to the spiritual journey that you might be interested in gaining some more light, some more clarity about. And I like to give people time to go inside and ask that inner presence, is there something I might ask in satsang tonight that would help me and catalyze the discussion and help everyone? Because even though every one of us has a unique journey, they're parallel in some regards. We go through the same or very similar roadblocks and breakthroughs. And so any question you ask about your own journey is very powerful, but it will also help everyone that gathers with us and that watches the recording down the road. So, I know you're going to ask, if you're on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart. I mean, there are other options, but those are our two favorites, like and love. And then we'll go in at the end and see that you were here and send you special hugs and blessings, like Sergio. He already gave us a love. We love you too. If you're on Vimeo, you would have to enter a comment in the chat and just say, "Hi, I'm here," and enter your name. And then we'll send you special extra blessings and love. All right, so, I see those hearts rising. I love that. So while we're all asking inside, here's one for you. I like to share these quotes from a website called inspiringquotes.com. If I'm allowed to stay on it. Just go there. But on this website, there are so many articles by a group of authors on relevant subjects, and some just funny, some profound, with lists of quotes to support these brief articles. And we've really been enjoying them, and I've been sharing one of these articles each week for some time now. This one is 22 quotes to inspire you to the truth. To tell the truth and live the truth. What is the actual title? They changed it in the URL. 22 honesty quotes to inspire the truth. Okay. And this is by Tony Janelle. Tony's an English writer of nonfiction and fiction, living on the edge of the Amazon jungle. And we love the Amazon. Used to live in Bolivia a number of years ago now. And Suzanne and I have both spent time in South America. And so Tony's in a really cool place. Let's see what he has to say. Of all the traits that are considered part of a moral character, few are more highly regarded than honesty. Being truthful with others and also with ourselves, as the old proverb goes, honesty is the best policy. First written down by the English politician Edwin Sandys in 1599. The saying was later repeated by many famous figures, including eminent American thinkers and politicians such as Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and George Washington. The latter used the proverb in the farewell address of 1796, saying, quote, "I hold the maxim, no less applicable to public than to private affairs, that honesty is the best policy," unquote. And then there was Mark Twain, who wryly stated that, quote, "Honesty is the best policy when there's money in it." Twain was such a
rascal.
He was a rascal, all right. So, here are some quotes from famous names who've held truth-telling in the highest regard, from William Shakespeare to Kristen Stewart. "No legacy is so rich as honesty," William Shakespeare. "Let honesty be as the breath of thy soul," Benjamin Franklin. "Honesty is one part of eloquence. We persuade others by being in earnest ourselves," William Hazlitt. "He who dares not offend cannot be honest," Thomas Paine. "To believe all men honest would be folly. To believe none so is something worse," John Quincy Adams. "Honesty is the first chapter in the Book of Wisdom," Thomas Jefferson. "Still, I hope I shall always possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider to be the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man," George Washington. "Every man who expresses an honest thought is a soldier in the army of intellectual liberty," Robert G. Ingersoll. "Let the watchwords of all our people be the old familiar watchwords of honesty, decency, fair dealing, and common sense. Theodore Roosevelt. Someone once asked me what I regarded as the 3 most important requirements for happiness. My answer was, a feeling that you have been honest with yourself and those around you. A feeling that you have done the best you could do both in your personal life and in your work. And the ability to love others. Eleanor Roosevelt. Being entirely honest with oneself is a good exercise. Sigmund Freud. Never be afraid to raise your voice for honesty and truth and compassion against injustice and lying and greed. William Faulkner. Early on in my career, I had to decide between honest arrogance and hypocritical humility. I chose honest arrogance and have seen no occasion to change. Frank Lloyd Wright. I'd rather get bad news from an honest man than lies from a flatterer. Ursula Le Guin. To express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself, now that, my friend, is very hard to do. Bruce Lee. Being honest may not get you a lot of friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. John Lennon. I wish we could stop the little lies. I don't mean the one has to be brutally frank. I don't believe that we should be brutal about anything. However, it is wonderfully liberating to be honest. Maya Angelou. Almost any difficulty will move in the face of honesty. When I am honest, I never feel stupid. And when I am honest, I am automatically humble. Hugh Prather. Honesty is a very expensive gift. Don't expect it from cheap people. Warren Buffett. To live a life of honesty and integrity is a responsibility of every decent person. Noam Chomsky. Funny women are honest women. I guess that's also true for men. But no one ever asks me if my male characters are presenting a negative image of masculinity. Elizabeth Merriweather. Well, that was honest. It's impossible to always get across what I'm trying to say. But if I just stay honest, then I'm not going to look back on any of these interviews and wonder what I was trying to do or be. Kirsten Stewart. We live in a time where truth is, what is it anymore?
Right.
We used to say all the time, truth is relative, you know. And that was bad enough, but now people are saying, what is truth? I can't tell. People are so confused about what's true, and that's not their fault. It's because we've been getting a lot of help from all sides, exaggerating truth, twisting a little here or there to get us to jump on board with this view or that view or the other, whether we're talking science, politics, religion, anything.
Made me think of an experience that we had last night. We were on a group text with some people, some friends, and one of them came across a little bit harsh, and we read it and we were like, oh, that was a little harsh. And about 3 minutes later, we get a call from her, and she said, was my text a little bit harsh? and I stopped for a second because she's very sensitive, and I didn't want to offend her, but I knew that she wanted the truth from us. And so I just, out of the blue, I weighed in, and out of the blue I said, yeah, a little bit. And she goes, oh, crud, I knew it. And then she was trying to, kind of back out of her. She was going to explain it, or she was going to justify it, and went through all the things that the ego goes through when you're trying to backpedal and undo something you wish you hadn't done. And we came up with a really creative option to send a picture that we could all relate to and just send hearts, emojis, without having to explain or rationalize or justify it, and it all smoothed out just fine. But I felt kind of honored because we've had kind of a rocky relationship for the last 2 or 3 years, and we finally got into a place where I felt really honored that she felt like she could call us to get an honest opinion, that we would actually tell her the truth in the most gentle way that we could. But yeah, it was nice. And I have been actually, it's funny you picked those quotes, because I've been thinking about that incident last night and the value of honesty and having people.
Without brutality.
Right, without brutality.
Because honesty, truth is a two-edged sword.
Right.
It can heal and it can cut.
Yes. And so finding a way to be honest with people, but coming from your heart and being compassionate, and helping them get out of the situation that they wanted you to be honest with compassion and speaking from the heart, because she was ready to keep going down that trail. And I said, no, just send that picture. And she said, and then should I say? And I said, no, just send the picture. It'll kind of pull it back to the heart space.
Of a heart.
No, it was the ornaments that our friends had made.
Okay,
that we all got one that
anyway.
incorporates the group. And so I said, just send a picture of that, and don't have to explain it, and then send some heart emojis. And she did, and it all smoothed over. It turned the whole conversation.
Stumbled.
No, it turned the whole conversation over into something playful and fun. And but yeah, it took a second. We were walking through it, talking through it, and I just kept coming back to my heart and praying, how would this be the best way to.
So if you're thinking of going to an acquaintance or a friend and ask them the truth, be honest, just be honest with me, choose wisely.
Yes. Make sure it's somebody you can trust and somebody that's coming from their heart. Because
loves
otherwise it can do more damage than it can.
It's all how you look at the truth. I mean, in India, one of the things we learned is it's not the facts that cause us to suffer. It's the story around the facts. Oh, I was being a little harsh. I was being brutal. Oh no, I must have hurt somebody's feelings. Somebody's going to be offended with me. I'm not a good person. Blah, blah, blah. That's the story. The actual fact of what was said caused no harm at all. Not to the people who heard it, not to the one who got the reflection. It was just a little harsh. Suzanne's very nice with me. She's for years been pointing out to me when I'm just being a little bit, too tough. Because, I don't know, I was brought up by a Chinese master. And, they're renowned for being tough as nails. Out of love, but it's a whole different kind of love. It's tough love. So some of that got into me, and I sometimes I need a loving reflection from my partner when I. Anyway, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any questions, so that's okay. Yep. We'll give it another minute if you got one hanging.
I like that one quote too about being honest with yourself. We can't really be honest with the world if we're not being honest with ourselves, and seeing when we're being harsh, or seeing when, sometimes we just feel so right about our convictions or what we're experiencing or our perception of something, that it's good to take a step back and, do some self-introspective. For me, the biggest learner has been righteous indignation. and
Teacher.
Teacher, yeah, biggest teacher, righteous indignation. And I felt like I was being perfectly honest, but I wasn't coming from my heart when I was getting upset with the situations I was getting upset with. I always swing back around to my heart to how can I be the change instead of complaining about what I'm seeing in the world. How can I rally my forces to come through with as much heart and love as possible through all of the righteous indignation.
So one of those quotes that expresses this was from Bruce Lee. To express oneself honestly, not lying to oneself. Now that, my friend, is very hard to do. The reason is because of ego. And the games the ego plays, the mind. And the first person that the mind must fool is ourself.
Right.
Because we're not going to convince anybody else of that dishonest point of view if we're not being honest with ourselves. In other words, it's very hard to, even if you want to, I want to look at myself and see if I'm really being honest and truthful, what games I might be playing to make life easier for me or harder for somebody else I don't care for. The mind is very tricky at covering that up. And even well-intentioned folks can't see ourselves. And that's where to look into the clear mirror of a spiritual friend who's loving, we will see ourselves reflected in relationships in ways that we're not able to see ourselves. That's why it's so important to surround ourselves with people who reflect truth. But through all of that, our true selves too, so that we can look at the truth. If someone is reflecting to us that we are truly love, that we are light, that we are divine beings, and this is just a blemish. Let me wipe. So that was nice. Okay, well, I think that's it. And Anna wrote, I like that. Be the change instead of complaining. Yeah. Okay.
It was a learning curve to get to that realization. I was walking around stewing for whatever I was upset about, people dumping garbage out on the street or whatever it was that came into my awareness. Yeah, it took me a while.
Notice when you have an honest insight into yourself where you weren't seeing the game, weren't seeing the mask you were acting from behind, and express gratitude to the divine, because that is a true gift of grace. And while it may sting just a little bit, it's a great gift because it allows us to awaken and expand beyond the shallow shells that a lot of us are living in. Okay. Well, please close your eyes, if you would, and invoke the presence in your heart. This presence who dwells within you is not a little thing. It is the entire divine source itself. The fullness of the divine being dwells in you at the center and loves you unspeakably beyond anything that you could conceive of. So receive that love right now. There is no distance between you and the divine. The divine lives inside of you, and you live inside of the divine. And it loves you unconditionally, yearns to free you from suffering, to fill you with light, to enlighten and awaken you with the truth. Of your divine being. The feelings of separation between us and others, between us and the light of the divine, this is all an illusion, a delusion of the mind. An awakening is to awaken out of that dream separation, and awaken into the truth of oneness. We are one with the divine, we are one with each other, we are one with all that exists. To awaken to that truth is bliss unspeakable. Receive the grace, the light of the presence that's pouring out of your heart to illuminate you to the truth, to clear your mind and your emotions of wrong thinking, and hurtful feelings and programming, to flood your soul with divinely inspired ideas, thoughts, feelings. It wants to shine out into your physical body and heal your diseases, your infirmities, your pain, your suffering, and fill you with divine health. Receive that. Drink it in. There's nothing for you to do right now but rest in the presence and receive the grace pouring out. Drink it in. Soak it up. Receive the grace. Allow the presence to free you and illuminate you. Love you. With your eyes closed, imagine we're sitting in a circle together. Lift up your hands with your palms open, facing forward, and just take an intention that the divine may flow through you, the flowering heart blessing, to all the others in the circle, as it flows back to you through all of them. Visualize the planet Earth in the middle of our circle, maybe a smaller version. A beautiful, translucent, blue, living planet, Gaia. And let us take a strong intention together that the divine presence would flow to the earth to bring healing to the planet itself, to the balance of the elements on earth, healing to all the sentient beings, the creatures that dwell on this beautiful living planet. Let us take together a strong intention for the divine presence to awaken the hearts and the minds the over 8 billion humans living on this planet. The divine grace would flow and pour into the hearts of all people, melting away fear, hatred, anger, selfishness, violence. Fill every living human heart with unconditional love and compassion, and the awakening to oneness with each other, with the divine, and with all that is. Now you can relax your hands in your lap. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me as we dive into the light meditation. In the open eye light meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and love and light, pouring out to you through every part of our being, especially through our eyes, the doorways of the soul. Just keep making eye contact with at least one of our eyes. That's all you need to do, is you just keep gazing at our eyes. The light streams out through our eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening and the fires of divine love to burn brighter and brighter within you. Nothing to do but receive. Close your eyes now. Meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace settles over Now keep meditating as long as it feels good to you. And or find a place to lie down in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you just lie on your back comfortably with your eyes closed, your arms loosely at your sides with the palms open, turned upward, and just let yourself dissolve in the presence in gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine within you, and we bow to you.
Namaste.
Namaste.